The night shift at Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Station was usually quiet, but not tonight. Joe Miller sat up straight in his chair as multiple red dots appeared on his screen. His coffee cup crashed to the floor, forgotten. "Sir," he called out, his voice shaking. "You need to see this." Station Chief Robert walked over, his face turning pale as he saw the readings. 7 massive objects, each larger than anything humanity had ever built, were entering the solar system. They moved with purpose, their trajectory aimed directly at Earth. Within an hour, every major military facility on Earth buzzed with activity. In the underground command center of the United Earth Defense Council, Admiral James Porter stood before a giant screen showing the approaching vessels. His gray hair and weathered face reflected decades of military service, but nothing in his experience had prepared him for this. "Ladies and gentlemen," he addressed the council, "we are no longer alone. These vessels are clearly artificial and far beyond our current technology. Based on their size and formation, this is likely a military fleet." General Thomas Wright, a tall man with broad shoulders, stepped forward. "What are our options, Admiral?" "We maintain combat readiness, but show nothing overtly hostile," Porter replied, his eyes fixed on the screen. "Let them make the first move." The room fell silent as one of the vessels broke formation and moved ahead of the others. It was sleek, its hull gleaming with an otherworldly metal that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The first transmission came 3 hours later. A voice, speaking perfect English, filled every radio frequency on Earth. "People of Earth, we bring greetings from the Galactic Empire. We are here to offer you the privilege of joining our vast civilization. Your planet has been monitored for some time, and we have deemed you ready for integration." In the council chamber, Admiral Porter exchanged glances with Dr. Anna Miller, Earth's leading quantum physicist. She had been called in to analyze the aliens' technology. "They're broadcasting in all major languages simultaneously," she reported, her fingers flying over her tablet. "The technology required for that alone is incredible." Porter nodded, but his eyes narrowed. 20 years in military intelligence had taught him to look beyond the surface. Notice they said integration, not membership. There's a difference. The council debated their response. Some wanted immediate acceptance, dazzled by the prospect of advanced technology. Others urged caution. President Helen Marcus, her face stern, made the final decision. "We maintain silence for now. Admiral Porter, activate Protocol Omega." Protocol Omega was Earth's best-kept secret. For decades, humanity had prepared for this moment. Hidden bases, underwater facilities, and orbital platforms, all carefully concealed from any watching eyes, began powering up. As the alien ships drew closer, Earth's population remained unaware of the true situation. News channels reported unconfirmed signals from space, while social media buzzed with theories. This was exactly as planned, appearing disorganized and primitive, while secretly preparing for any possibility. In his private office, Admiral Porter received an encrypted message from the lunar base. The quantum sensors Dr. Miller had installed were picking up energy readings from the alien fleet. The numbers were staggering. "They could glass the entire planet," Dr. Miller said quietly, looking at the data. "Their energy output is beyond anything we've ever seen." Porter smiled, a grim expression that didn't reach his eyes. "Perhaps, but they don't know what we've been working on, do they, Doctor?" Dr. Miller touched the small quantum core hanging from her neck, the product of 15 years of secret research. "No, they don't. The alien ships entered lunar orbit 1 week after their first appearance. Earth still hadn't responded to their transmission. Instead, in hidden facilities around the globe, soldiers trained, scientists worked, and leaders planned. The largest ship, nearly the size of Manhattan, moved to position itself over Earth's northern hemisphere. Another transmission began. "Your silence is noted. Earth. We will send an ambassador to discuss your integration. Prepare to receive Lord Rex in 3 of your Earth days. Resistance is inadvisable." In the council chamber, Admiral Porter watched the massive ships looming above their planet. He thought about the hidden defenses, the secret weapons, and most importantly, Dr. Miller's breakthrough. He allowed himself a small smile. "Let them come," he whispered. "Let them come and learn why Earth has survived every threat it has ever faced." The first move had been made. The game was beginning. And Earth was not the primitive planet the Empire thought it was. Lord Rex's shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere like a falling star. The world watched through their screens as the sleek vessel landed on the grounds of the United Nations in New York. Military units stood guard, their weapons lowered but ready. Admiral Porter watched from the command center, his fingers drumming on the desk. "Showtime," he muttered. The shuttle's door opened with a soft hiss. Lord Rex emerged, and humanity got its first look at a member of the Galactic Empire. He appeared almost human, except for his height. Nearly 8 feet tall, and his silver-tinted skin that seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. His uniform bore symbols of rank that glowed with their own light. "Quite a show they're putting on," Dr. Miller commented, standing beside Porter. She held a tablet displaying energy readings from the Imperial shuttle. "But look at this." She pointed to a graph. "Their technology. It's familiar somehow." Before Porter could respond, Lord Rex began to speak. His voice carried across the plaza without any visible amplification. "People of Earth, I bring you a simple choice. Join the Empire willingly, and we will uplift your civilization with our technology. Refuse, and we will be forced to demonstrate our power." President Marcus stepped forward to meet him. "We appreciate your offer, Lord Rex. However, we'll need time to consider such an important decision." The alien diplomat's smile didn't reach his eyes. "You have 3 Earth days. Choose wisely." As the formal greetings continued, Dr. Miller's team worked frantically in their underground lab. They had managed to hack into the Empire's communication network using quantum computing methods that the aliens hadn't predicted humans would possess. "Admiral," Dr. Miller called 12 hours later. Her face was pale as she burst into the command center. "You need to see this." The data painted a grim picture. The Empire wasn't offering membership. They were planning colonization. Images showed dozens of worlds stripped of resources, their populations enslaved in vast mining operations. The Empire's integration was just another word for conquest. Porter immediately called an emergency council meeting. As the evidence was presented, the room grew silent. "So that's their game," General Wright said, his fists clenched. "They think we're just another primitive world to add to their collection." "But we're not," Dr. Miller interrupted. She placed a small device on the table. It looked like a simple metal cube. "Remember the quantum shield project I've been working on? It's ready." She pressed a button, and the cube hummed to life. A holographic display showed Earth surrounded by a complex web of quantum fields. "They won't be able to penetrate this shield with their weapons. Their technology relies on principles we've already mapped out." Porter leaned forward. "How is that possible?" "Because," Miller smiled, "they didn't develop their technology. They stole it. These energy signatures match ancient ruins we found on Mars and Venus. The Empire isn't as advanced as they want us to think. They're just better thieves." The next 2 days were busy. While Lord Rex waited in his luxury suite, believing Earth's leaders were debating surrender, humanity prepared. Underground bases activated their quantum shields. Orbital platforms disguised as satellites moved into position. Every military unit on Earth received new quantum-enhanced weapons. On the 3rd day, Lord Rex stood before the council again. "What is your answer?" President Marcus stood, her face calm. "We appreciate your offer, Lord Rex, but Earth must decline. We choose to remain independent." The alien diplomat's friendly facade vanished. "Then you choose destruction. Our fleet will show you the price of defiance." As he stormed out, Porter received a message from the lunar base. The Imperial fleet was powering up their weapons. "Should we stop his shuttle from leaving?" General Wright asked. Porter shook his head. Let him go. Let them think we're helpless. When they attack, he looked at Dr. Miller, who nodded confidently. When they attack, she finished, they'll learn that humanity has some surprises of our own. Above Earth, the Imperial ships began to move. The first battle for Earth's freedom was about to begin. The Imperial ships moved into attack position with cold precision. Their massive forms blocked out the stars as they spread across Earth's sky. In the command center, Admiral Porter watched the tactical display with calm eyes. "They're positioning exactly as we predicted," he said, overconfident, just like every empire that came before them. The first shot from the Imperial fleet lit up the night sky. A beam of energy, bright enough to turn night into day, streaked toward New York City. Millions watched in horror, expecting destruction. Instead, the beam hit something invisible about 50 miles above the city. The energy scattered into harmless light, like fireworks across the sky. Dr. Miller's quantum shields had worked perfectly. In his flagship, Lord Rex stood in shock. Impossible. He turned to his weapons officer. Fire again. Full power. The Imperial fleet unleashed everything they had. Beams of energy and plasma torpedoes rained down on Earth. Each shot hit the invisible shield and dissolved. On the ground, people cheered as they realized they were safe. Second phase, Porter ordered, his voice steady. Around the world, hidden bunkers opened. Missile silos that had been disguised as office buildings revealed themselves. The orbital platforms shed their satellite disguises. "This is Earth Defense Command to all units," Porter broadcast. "Execute Battle Plan Alpha." Earth's counterattack began. Quantum-enhanced missiles streaked upward, their warheads powered by Dr. Miller's technology. The Imperial shift shields, designed to stop normal weapons, might as well have been paper. 3 capital ships erupted in flames before they could react. "How?" Lord Rex demanded, watching his fleet burn. "They're primitives. They shouldn't have this technology." In the command center, Dr. Miller smiled as she read the energy signatures. "Their shields are based on stolen technology they don't fully understand. Our quantum weapons go right through them." The space around Earth turned into a battlefield. Imperial ships tried to maneuver, but Earth's defense grid had them surrounded. Quantum torpedoes from hidden lunar bases struck from behind. Stealth fighters, launched from underwater bases, attacked from below. Captain Maria Torres led the fighter attack. Her squadron slipped through the gaps in the Imperial formation, their quantum drives making them nearly invisible. "This is Phantom Leader," she reported. "Beginning attack run on their flagship." The Imperial fleet started to break formation. Some ships tried to retreat. Others pressed their attack, refusing to believe they could lose to primitives. But each attack failed against the quantum shields, while Earth's weapons struck true every time. "Admiral," General Wright called out, "their flagship is trying to send a transmission to their home base." Porter nodded. "Let them. I want the whole Empire to see this." Lord Rex's face appeared on screens across Earth. His silver skin had lost its shine, and fear showed in his eyes. "This is impossible. You can't have this technology. You're supposed to be primitive." President Marcus sent Earth's reply. "We're not primitive, Lord Rex. We're human. We built our civilization ourselves, instead of stealing from others. And now we're going to teach you why that matters." The battle lasted less than an hour. When it ended, half the Imperial fleet was destroyed. The rest retreated in disorder, their mighty ships fleeing from the weapons of a world they had thought would be an easy conquest. In the aftermath, Admiral Porter stood with Dr. Miller, watching the last Imperial ships vanish into deep space. Teams were already heading out to salvage the damaged Imperial vessels that had been left behind. "They'll be back," Miller said quietly. "And in greater numbers." Porter smiled. "Good, because now we have their technology to study as well as our own. And unlike them, we'll learn how it really works." Above them, Earth's quantum shield shimmed faintly in the sunlight, invisible but strong, just like humanity's will to remain free. 2 weeks after Earth's victory, the deep space sensors lit up again. This time, they detected over 30 Imperial ships entering the solar system. The Empire had sent its main battle fleet. Well, they certainly didn't waste time, Admiral Porter said, studying the tactical display. The new fleet was led by a massive ship that dwarfed even Lord Rex's former flagship. Dr. Miller, what are we looking at? Dr. Miller's fingers danced across her console. Their energy readings are off the charts. They've brought planet killers this time. She paused, then smiled. But they're still using the same basic technology, just bigger versions. The Imperial fleet's new commander wasted no time with diplomacy. His message was brief. You have 1 hour to surrender. After that, we will destroy your world completely. In the command center, President Marcus stood with her advisors. Are we ready for this? More than ready, Dr. Miller replied. She pressed a button, bringing up a hologram of Earth surrounded by a complex web of quantum energy. While they were away, we upgraded our defenses using their own salvage technology. Plus, I've got a surprise for them. The hour passed quickly. The Imperial fleet moved into position, forming a sphere around Earth. Their weapons powered up, creating an artificial aurora in the sky. All defense stations, activate quantum disruption field, Porter ordered. Dr. Miller's surprise activated. A wave of quantum energy spread out from Earth, invisible but powerful. As it reached the Imperial fleet, their ships suddenly lost power. Their engines sputtered, and their weapons went dark. What you're experiencing, Dr. Miller broadcast to the Imperial fleet, is a quantum disruption field. We've learned how your stolen technology works, and how to turn it off. The Imperial commander's voice crackled with rage. Impossible. You're lying. No, Porter replied calmly. We're innovating. Captain Torres, you may begin. Earth's stealth fleet decloaked behind the Imperial ships. In the 2 weeks since the first battle, they had been refitted with both human and salvaged Imperial technology. Leading them was Captain Torres in her flagship, the Spirit of Earth. All ships, attack pattern Delta, Torres commanded. Her fleet moved like shadows between the powerless Imperial vessels, their quantum weapons striking with surgical precision. The Imperial fleet tried to fight back, but their ships were struggling just to maintain life support. Some captains, seeing the hopelessness of their situation, began to surrender. Admiral, General Wright reported, we're receiving surrender signals from 12 Imperial ships. Their crews are requesting asylum. Porter raised an eyebrow. Asylum. That's interesting. Through the surrendering crews, they learned the truth. Many worlds in the Empire were waiting for a chance to break free. Earth's resistance had given them hope. The Imperial crews had families on those worlds, and they saw this as their chance for real freedom. The battle turned into a rout. The Imperial commander tried to rally his forces, but more ships surrendered with each passing minute. His mighty fleet was being dismantled by the very technology his empire had stolen and never bothered to truly understand. In a final act of desperation, the Imperial commander ordered his flagship to ram Earth. If we can't have this world, no one will. But he had forgotten about Earth's quantum shields. His massive ship crashed into them at full speed, the energy barrier turning his kamikaze attack into a spectacular light show. The flagship broke apart, its pieces burning up harmlessly in the atmosphere. As the battle ended, Earth had gained not just a victory, but allies. The surrendered Imperial ships brought with them knowledge, technology, and most importantly, information about worlds ready to join Earth in fighting for freedom. Dr. Miller stood with Porter, watching the cleanup begin. You know what this means, don't you? Porter nodded. We're not just defending Earth anymore. We're about to take the fight to the Empire itself. Above them, the quantum shield rippled with energy, now strengthened by both human innovation and Imperial technology. Earth was no longer just a target for conquest. It had become a beacon of resistance for the entire galaxy. 1 month after defeating the Empire's main fleet, Earth was ready to make its move. The United Earth Defense Council chamber was packed with representatives from every nation, along with commanders from the defected Imperial ships. Admiral Porter stood at the podium, looking out at the assembled crowd. Beside him, Dr. Miller made final adjustments to the quantum transmission device they had built using Imperial technology. "Are we ready to broadcast?" President Marcus asked. Dr. Miller nodded. "This will reach every world in the Empire. They won't be able to block it." Porter stepped forward. The cameras activated, and his image was transmitted across the galaxy. "This is Admiral James Porter of Earth. To the Galactic Empire and all worlds under its control, we have a message." The broadcast showed images of Earth's victories, the quantum shields protecting cities, and Imperial ships joining Earth's defense fleet. "You came to our world believing we were primitive. You thought we would bow down before your stolen technology and false power. You were wrong." President Marcus took her place at the podium. "Today, Earth formally declares itself an independent world, free from Imperial control. But we go further than that. We declare our space a safe haven for any world that wishes to break free from the Empire." The former Imperial Captain Tom Smith, who had led the first group of defectors, stepped forward. "My home world has suffered under Imperial rule for 3 generations. They stripped our resources and enslaved our people. But Earth has shown us that resistance is possible. Technology alone isn't enough. Understanding and innovation are what truly matter." Dr. Miller presented the next part. "We've studied the Empire's stolen technology. We've improved it, combined it with our own discoveries. And now we're sharing this knowledge with every world that joins our alliance." Around the galaxy, the broadcast reached countless worlds. On Imperial mining colonies, slaves stopped their work to watch. On occupied planets, resistance fighters gathered around hidden screens. In the Empire's capital itself, the Imperial Council watched in growing alarm as their authority was challenged. Back on Earth, Porter continued the message. "To any world that wants freedom, you have an ally in Earth. Our quantum shields can protect your cities. Our technology can help you break free. The Empire's power is built on theft and fear. Ours is built on innovation and courage." The broadcast showed the surrendered Imperial ships, now repainted in Earth's colors, flying alongside human vessels. "To the Empire itself, we say this: your time of conquest is over. Earth is just the beginning. We will help every world you've enslaved to fight for their freedom." President Marcus delivered the final part. "And to any Imperial ships or crews who want to join us, our doors are open. Earth doesn't want slaves or subjects. We want allies and friends." As the broadcast ended, the responses began pouring in. 3 distant worlds immediately declared their independence from the Empire. Dozens of Imperial ships, inspired by the success of the first defectors, changed course for Earth. Resistance movements on 20 different planets asked for Earth's help. In the council chamber, Porter turned to Dr. Miller. "Think we can handle all of this?" She smiled, holding up her quantum computer. "We've already begun mass-producing the shield technology. And with every world that joins us, we gain more knowledge, more resources, and more allies." General Wright brought in the latest reports. "The Empire's trying to suppress the news, but they can't. Too many people saw our broadcast. Their whole system is starting to crack." President Marcus looked out at the Earth through the chamber's windows. The quantum shield created subtle rainbow patterns in the sky, a constant reminder of how far they'd come. "We never wanted to start a revolution," she said quietly. "We just wanted to stay free." "Sometimes," Porter replied, "that's all it takes. One world saying no to give others the courage to do the same." Above Earth, ships from a dozen different worlds gathered. The beginning of a new alliance. The Empire had wanted to add another conquest to their collection. Instead, they had created their own worst nightmare, a free Earth, armed with understanding they never had, ready to help others win their freedom. The story of Earth, the planet that said no, was just beginning. 5 years after Earth's declaration of independence, the galaxy had changed forever. The once mighty empire had shrunk to a quarter of its former size. In Earth's orbit, a massive space station called Freedom Point served as the headquarters of the new alliance of free worlds. Admiral Porter, now with touches of white in his hair, stood at the station's main observation deck. Below him, Earth shone like a blue jewel, its quantum shield now visible as a subtle golden haze in the atmosphere. Ships from hundreds of worlds came and went, carrying traders, diplomats, and refugees. Still admiring the view, Dr. Miller asked, joining him. She carried a tablet showing the latest improvements to the quantum shield technology. Hard to believe how much has changed. Remember when we thought we'd just be defending our own world? Porter smiled. Now look at us. The observation deck's screens showed news from across the galaxy. On one world, former Imperial slaves celebrated their first year of freedom. On another, Earth engineers helped locals build their own quantum shields. A third screen showed Imperial ships burning their flags and joining the Alliance fleet. Captain Torres, now Admiral Torres, entered with urgent news. The Imperial capital world just had a revolution. The people stormed the Imperial palace. They're requesting Alliance peacekeepers. And so the mighty fall, Porter said quietly. Send the response fleet. Make sure they take medical supplies and food along with the peacekeepers. In the 5 years since the first battle, Earth had learned important lessons about freedom. It wasn't enough to help worlds break free. They needed help rebuilding, learning to govern themselves, and protecting their independence. The Freedom Point station buzzed with activity. In one section, scientists from 50 different worlds worked together, combining their knowledge to create new technologies. In another, former Imperial citizens learned about democracy and free elections. The medical bay treated former slaves, helping them recover and start new lives. Dr. Miller's quantum technology had evolved too. The latest version didn't just protect. It could heal damaged planets, clearing pollution, and restoring ruined ecosystems. We're not just freeing worlds anymore, she explained to a group of alien scientists. We're helping them become better than they were before. President Marcus, now serving as the head of the Alliance Council, called a meeting of world leaders. Representatives from over 200 free planets gathered in the Great Chamber. 5 years ago, Earth stood alone against an empire that thought us primitive, she began. Today, we stand together as equals. Each world unique, each people free, but all united in our belief in freedom and justice. The empire's response to their losses had been desperate. They tried bribes, threats, and attacks. But each attempt only made the alliance stronger. More Imperial citizens defected, bringing ships, technology, and crucial information with them. Tom Smith, the first Imperial captain to defect, now led the Alliance's refugee program. The Empire's biggest mistake, he told new arrivals, was thinking that stolen technology made them superior. They never understood that true strength comes from working together, from building rather than taking. In Earth's Quantum Research Center, Dr. Miller made a breakthrough that would change everything again. She found a way to create stable wormholes, allowing instant travel between Alliance worlds. Distance was the Empire's advantage, she explained to Porter. Now it's gone. As the sun set on another busy day, Porter stood again at his favorite observation spot. A group of children, human and alien together, ran past him, playing some new game they had invented. In the distance, construction crews were building another dock for the ever-growing Alliance fleet. Admiral, a young officer called. The last Imperial holdout worlds are requesting peace talks. They want to join the Alliance. Porter nodded. Invite them to Freedom Point. Show them we're not like the Empire. Show them what real civilization looks like. Earth had done more than save itself. It had shown the galaxy a better way to live, not through conquest and theft, but through cooperation and innovation. The planet that said no to an empire had said yes to a future where all worlds could be free. And that was just the beginning. The Great Museum of Galactic History on Freedom Point Station had a special exhibit, Earth's Stand, 100 Years of Freedom. Holographic displays showed scenes from the historic battle where Earth first said no to the Empire. School children from 1,000 different worlds wandered through the exhibits, their eyes wide with wonder. An elderly tour guide, Robert Porter, great-grandson of the famous Admiral Porter, led a group through the museum. This, he said, pointing to a preserved piece of quantum shield technology, is where it all began. Dr. Miller's original quantum shield device. The children gathered around, their various species mixing together naturally. A young imperial child, distinguished by silver-tinted skin, raised her hand. "Is it true that my people were once the bad guys?" Robert smiled kindly. "There are no bad people, only bad choices. Your ancestors made bad choices, but they learned and changed. That's what really matters." In the center of the museum stood the restored bridge of the Spirit of Earth, Captain Torres's famous ship. Its quantum drive was still operational, powering the museum's educational displays. Next to it, a wall of screens showed live feeds from across the galaxy. The old empire was now just a chapter in history books. In its place, the Alliance of Free Worlds had grown into a thriving civilization of over 10,000 member worlds. Earth's quantum technology had evolved into something the original defenders wouldn't have believed possible. "Look there," Robert pointed to a massive window showing Earth below. The planet glowed with health, its quantum shield now permanently integrated into the atmosphere, creating beautiful aurora effects. 100 years ago, that shield saved Earth. Now it helps protect every inhabited world in the galaxy. In the museum's research wing, scientists still studied the original battle data. Dr. Anna Miller's great-granddaughter, Dr. Jane Miller, led a team developing the next generation of quantum technology. They had found ways to use it not just for defense, but for healing entire solar systems and creating new worlds. "The most important thing we learned," Jane explained to visiting students, "wasn't about technology at all. It was about standing up for what's right, even when you seem small and weak." The museum's Hall of Heroes displayed holograms of those first defenders. Admiral Porter, Dr. Miller, Captain Torres, President Marcus, and others. Their images came to life when approached, sharing wisdom from the past. "Never let anyone tell you you're primitive," Admiral Porter's hologram said to wide-eyed visitors. "True civilization isn't about having the biggest ships or the most powerful weapons. It's about having the courage to do what's right." In the space around Freedom Point, ships from across the galaxy gathered for the centennial celebration. Some were descendants of the original Imperial fleet that had tried to conquer Earth. Now they came as friends and allies, their crews proud members of the Alliance. The museum's final exhibit showed the future, plans for exploration beyond the galaxy, new forms of quantum technology, and ways to help young civilizations develop safely. Earth's legacy wasn't just about resistance, it was about building a better future for everyone. And that, Robert told his tour group, is why we remember this story. Not because Earth won a battle, but because Earth showed the galaxy a better way to live. We don't need empires or conquest. We need friendship, innovation, and courage. As the tour ended, the children gathered around a giant hologram of the galaxy. Thousands of points of light showed Alliance worlds, each one free, each one unique, each one connected to all the others through the quantum network that had grown from Dr. Miller's original design. "Will there ever be another empire?" a young visitor asked. Robert shook his head. "The galaxy learned its lesson. We're stronger together as equals than we ever were as rulers and subjects. Earth taught us that." Outside the museum, the stars shone brightly. Ships of all kinds moved through space, carrying people and goods between friendly worlds. The great-grandchildren of both Earth's defenders and Imperial officers worked together, exploring new frontiers and solving new challenges. 100 years had passed since Earth said no to an empire. In doing so, it had said yes to a future brighter than anyone could have imagined.